And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Today, of course, is Sunday, and it's the day where various MPs do the rounds on all the big media sites, and news hosts have a chance to ask them some questions. Most of them don't really ask real questions because they're on the side of Labour. However, I've said time and time again, Camilla, I think she's quite a good interviewer and tries to hold the Labour MPs in particular to account and actually call them out for their lies and their BS. Now, today was Pat McFadden, one of the most gormless Labour MPs, and actually when you do get him in an interview, it's a waste of time because he never answers any questions, he never really gives his own opinion, he's always just towing the party line. However, of course, she did torch him on the lies with regards to the trans and Supreme Court ruling this week, and of course pulled out Keir Starmer, tried to admit that he of course was a liar, so we'll watch that. And of course there is a segment on the news that came out this week with regard to Labour willing to offer massive amounts of rent to landlords to house asylum seekers. So let's get into it, guys, but first please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more British content. Have a watch of this.
OK, we interviewed Kemi Badenoch, the Conservative leader, earlier on the show, and she said Keir Starmer was a liar because he had previously said that women can have a penis, or at least some women. I think 0.1% of women could have a penis. And now he seems to be saying that, oh no, he always agreed with the Supreme Court that trans women aren't women. He's fibbing, isn't he?
No, that's not the case. Look, we welcome the court judgment that came out last week, and there's been some new guidance from the EHRC as well to authorities and how they should implement this. And you know, we'll take that forward now that the guidance has been published.
But he once said that trans women were women, and he once suggested that 1 in 1,000 women can have a penis. So he wasn't aligned with the Supreme Court judgment at all, was he? Why is he pretending that he said something different to what he said? It's just a lie.
All the way through this, he's tried to treat people with dignity and respect, and we've still got to do that in this debate. And in responding to the judgment, that's what he's tried to do. That's what he said at Prime Minister's questions the other day, and that's what we've all got to do here.
Okay.
We've got some clarity from the court, which is welcome, and we've got some new guidance which will have to be implemented now in the fields of sport and all sorts of other areas.
All right. In the spirit of treating everyone with dignity and respect, why won't he apologise to his former Labour colleague, the MP for Canterbury, Rosie Duffield?
Well, look, I think Rosie left the Labour Party for a number of reasons.
Well, she was bullied out of the party because of her transgender views. That's what she says. That's why she left the party. She was gender critical. She got a load of problems from the whips and others. She couldn't get a conversation with Keir Starmer. She felt forced out. And now, quite rightly, she's been vindicated by the Supreme Court and is asking why on earth the Prime Minister, if he wants to respect everyone and give them dignity, she hasn't received a fulsome apology.
I mean, when I read her piece in the Times, I think it was yesterday, I think she said she wouldn't be interested in it, and that she wouldn't find it meaningful. And her letter of resignation, I was sorry to see her go, but her letter of resignation outlined a number of different policy dissatisfactions. This may have been one, but it wasn't the only one. And so I think she left for a number of reasons. And, you know, when we stood at the election last year, we said we would protect single-sex spaces. We want to do that. That protection for single-sex spaces was in our own Labour Equality Act from back in 2010, and that's what we'll do going forward.
Yeah, literally, Pat has no opinion of his own, does he? Literally has no opinion whatsoever. And again, you know, just chatting absolute bollocks there again. He's always chatting rubbish and towing the party line, looking to try and protect the Labour Party. But yeah, he's at it. Now, this is him, of course, on the Home Office about renting private accommodation. So yeah, have a listen to this bit.
Ivette Cooper, your colleague as Home Secretary, has vowed to smash the gangs, and yet we understand that Labour is going to pay landlords 5 years of rent to accommodate asylum seekers. How on earth does that help to smash the gangs? And how on earth does the party of the worker get itself into the situation that it is providing housing for asylum seekers while people living in Britain legally are struggling to get on the housing ladder?
There's nothing new about the Home Office renting private accommodation. It's been doing it for years.
But for 5 years at a stretch?
For a long time. It happened under Alaska. Well, I don't know
That's
what
new, isn't
the length
it?
of the past contracts was, but this is not new. It is not new for the Home Office to be renting private accommodation. And what she's trying to do, very importantly, is deal with the situation where we've got hotels in many towns, including my own in Wolverhampton, where the public don't want to see the local hotel used in this way. We're trying to get the backlog down instead of ignoring it, as the Tories did, and pretending it's not there. That was a recipe for more and more people housed in temporary accommodation, whether it's hotels or private housing, for years and years on end. We're starting to tackle that backlog. Hopefully we can close more of these hotels, and hopefully we can get this backlog dealt with, as well as doing more to stop and try to combat the problem at source, which is the trafficking gangs themselves. But on this issue of renting private accommodation, the Home Office has been doing it for a long, long time.
All right, Pat McFadden, we need to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed for your time this morning on GB News.
So there you go. That's all what Pat McFadden says. I mean, he's probably their go-to guy, because they know they're going to toe the party line and not really give an opinion of himself. You know, I think last time, what was he saying? He was saying something about the incest thing, which was actually disgusting. And he was stating, whatever the Labour Party believes is what I believe and support, and all of these kind of things. The guy has no opinion for himself. I don't know how he's got into a situation he is, but they always send him out with safe hands. But quite frankly, again, you could just see in his answers that he's full of it, full of BS, doesn't really know what he's saying. And again, this is stuff that's the things that are facts, of course, with regard to what's happening with Labour this week. And again, don't really get anything out of him in terms of an opinion. Don't get anything in terms of answers. But to answer Camilla myself, you know, Keir is lying. You know, she probably should have addressed the question in a different way to put to him, and said, oh, well, was he lying then or is he lying now? If he, in terms of the whole thing with the trans and Supreme Court ruling, and that would probably have been a better question to ask him, because he wouldn't have been able to answer. So simple as that. Keir is a liar, and of course he tries to protect his own back by going with the Supreme Court and all of these kind of things, but they're all full of it. They're all full of it within that Labour Party. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on that one down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.